And now the session you're all waiting for. And we have all waited for 2 weeks when we issued or released our agenda. And someone who is coming up on stage and inspire us a lot. Not for the first time, but many times he has inspired many of us. I feel privileged that I have personal interaction with that legend. I normally don't call anybody a legend. I'm kind of myself an admin person. But when you look at a person who has achieved something, who is direct when it's needed, who is adamant when it's needed, who is persuasive when it's needed, who is inspiring when it's needed, who is humble when it's needed, who is friend when it's needed, that's what makes you accept somebody's legend. And we have to accept and praise people when they are legend, when they have achieved something more than normal people they have achieved. Today we have presence of our international past president of Toastmasters International, none other than DTM Colonel Mohammed Murad, who is going to deliver an education session. Let's see whether it's in Hindi or English. It's totally up to him. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome our Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Colonel Mohammed Murad on stage. DTM Colonel Mohammed Murad, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Amjad and fellow Toastmasters. The introduction was fascinating for me simply because it comes from a personal experience. I'm not sure if I deserve whatever he said, but nevertheless, I think making things personal is something that comes across to other people as an added advantage, added value, and probably this is what we need to do in our daily life, and more specifically in our Toastmaster clubs. We need to personalize things so that we can make sure that everyone is touched in the heart. And I believe from what I have been hearing within the club meeting, and this is the first time I'm attending Bollywood Club, it's fascinating. And probably this bilingual thing is also adding a lot of value to the people who understand both languages. I'm sure Rania is a bit puzzled when things change from one language to another, but I understand you'll do pretty well. And I thought I will start with a ghazal. I'm fond of ghazals, I'm fond of Ghalib, I'm fond of Pankaj Udas, listening to his beautiful, beautiful songs. So to start the topic, I would like to share with you two verses of a poem by Qabil. And the poem goes as such. तुम न मानो मगर हकीकत है, इश्क इंसान की ज़रूरत है. And then he goes into a couple of other verses later. He says, उसके महफिल में बैठ कर देखो, ज़िंदगी कितनी खूबसूरत है. And this verse is fascinating, but what I am talking about is not that ishq that you are thinking of while I was reciting the poem. But it is all about ishq. And I think Rania and all the Arabic-speaking people will understand ishq. And the non-Urdu, Arabic-speaking will know that what I am talking about is not love. Because the translation of love is not ishq. Translation of love is very much less than you say that you have ishq for something. And the exact translation, as per my understanding, is ishq is passion. And you have to have passion in everything that you are doing. And if we apply this passion not to the man-woman love, but to our love, to the organization, our love to Toastmasters International. And then when we say, unke mehfil mein bet kar dekho, then you will know that that mehfil translates a lot into making sure that we need to have passion in whatever we're doing within the organization in order for us to portray a better reputation about their organization to other people. So whenever someone is coming into the mehfil of Toastmasters, we need to make sure them to see how beautiful is our passion. And I heard a couple of people talking in the table topics, talking about, yeah, and I see you smiling, Amr. It's exactly that, by the way. And you know, looking at how passion transcends into success is fascinating. And there are many numerous examples, whether individual or even organizations. And if we go and delve into what made those organizations, those people successful, you will find that the first ingredient, whenever they started, was passion. So my question to you is, how much passion do you have to make your club successful? I mean, it's okay for us to come and give speeches and say, I have done my job. But speeches with passion, and I see that there is a cavalier here, and I'm sure that they have their club meetings full of passion, to the extent that when we go as members, adult members, to their gavel clubs, we get fascinated. But then, what is it that keeps us from having that same vibe, that same dynamism in our clubs? And probably the answer is that sometimes we lose sight of passion. It's not that we do not have passion. Everyone has got a passion. Anyone, in my opinion, who joins Toastmasters has passion. But once the life cycle comes in, we tend to lose sight of our passion for Toastmasters, for many other things. And in saying that, I'm not saying that we do not need to attend to life, because that is a necessity. That is something that will keep us going. But what I'm saying is that we need to have equal focus in both aspects, because both aspects actually are interchanging. Our passion for Toastmasters makes us better within the organization, and we can transition it and transfer it outside. Similarly, if you have passion for what you do outside, you need to realize that the same passion that you have for what you are doing outside, if you have similar or more passion for the organization, for your club, for the other members, then success is going to come very easily. Very similar to Ishq, right? I mean, if you don't have this passion to the person that you want to partner with, or someone that you have affection for, they're not gonna come and say, yeah, I'm gonna stay with you and I'll see what happens later. Passion has to be consistent. Passion has to be there at each and every step of the way whenever interaction is happening. And talking about interaction, how frequently do you actually think about your skills that are being honed in Toastmasters to put it outside? I mean, that could be the embed, couldn't it? The frequency of which you think of something makes a very big difference. I used to, in the young age, when I wasn't married, you know, when you have a relationship with someone, and I'm talking about my wife, by the way, not anyone else, you actually think of that person over and over and over again. And you can't wait till you actually go and meet them. How do you see your club members? Are you interested enough not to wait 2 weeks to go and meet them? On the contrary, it's not about you, it's about them also, right? So passion is a two-way street. Whether it's organization or a person, passion is a two-way street. If it's only one way, it's not going to work. And it's even if it's 1.5 way, it's not going to work. So the secret to success is not only self-passion, but also club passion, right? How passionate is the club collectively? Are there some members who lose focus of the passion for making the club successful? And if that is so, it is our duty to make sure that we correct the path. And we correct the path within the Toastmasters values. It's not productive for us to go and tell someone that you are not attending the meetings, you are not preparing well, and on and on and on. That's not how we do evaluations. We evaluate by upholding respect and having a service mindset, keeping integrity into mind. And we strive for excellence in each and everything we do, including interaction with those members who might have certain circumstances, certain situations that might make them probably veer away from focus, and rightfully so. So with passion needs to come understanding. Passion on its own is going nowhere. We need to have understanding to complement passion. And how do we do that? By looking at a common ground that we can come to. So compromise. Passion needs compromise. And I have learned the hard way in my married life of 33 years now, that if you do not compromise, it's not going to work. And again, compromise is a two-way street. So foundation is the passion. the way forward is understanding. And to make excellence happen is compromise. So where do you stand as a member from these three elements? Where does your club stand from these three elements? Where is the ishq scale within the club? And is the club a mahfil that brings out love and compassion? That is what will make your club successful. Thank you so much, and over to you.
Thank you so much, DTM Colonel Mohammed Murad, for your valuable, kind, elating words. Really appreciate. Can we all give him a big hand, please? And we have 3 more minutes for question answer session. It's a surprise one for DTM Colonel Murad. Anyone would like to ask question related to the session you have observed, you have listened now? Anybody short questions, please? Make sure your questions are very short, one-liners or two-liners. Anybody? DTM Sudarshan, sir. Oh, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Colonel Murad, my question is very simple. You mentioned that excellence is a matter of compromise. Excellence is a matter of putting out your passion and understanding the other person's passion. Sometimes in this journey, there is a natural ebb that comes. How does one overcome that? Because it is not intentional, it happens by circumstance. How does one overcome that natural dip in enthusiasm?
Well, it's very simple, and it always starts with the mindset, by the way, because from your question, it seems that you are looking forward to the worst and looking forward to the better. And if you know, I'm reading a book called Cybernetics right now. I recommend everyone who wants to look at human tendencies and so on to read it. Mindset and what you tell yourself makes it or breaks it, by the way. So for you to tell me what happens when the ebb is there, it's no different than the other, the 3 elements, by the way. But the difference is that when you are in an ebb, you need to have another element in it, is admittance. So you need to admit that you are in a situation that could be better. But for you to admit, you need to have measures. And if you have your measure for a club, for instance, if a club has measures of DCP, if you don't achieve your DCP, you are in an ebb. But for you to admit that is different than saying, okay, we are doing whatever we like and we are speaking, but we don't care about the DCP, right? So understand the situation and then admit it, and then you go into the 3 elements.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, DTM Sudarshan and DTM Colonel Murad. Anybody else would like to ask a question? Come on, it's a privilege.
Red card there.
Sorry?
I see the red card. So maybe last question.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Amir Al-Mawani.
Yes, sir. Colonel Murad, just wanted to have your guidance on how we can sustain or how we can continue the passion and the energy towards Toastmaster and for our quality input and output also.
See, the nucleus of the organization Toastmasters International is the club, right? And there is no magic answer to how it can become better, but the magic equation for any club to be successful is quality club meetings. Simple as that. And if you look at Smedley Distinguished, for Presidents Distinguished, up to Distinguished clubs, you will see that the quality of their club meetings is way much higher in standards than the ones which do not make DCP. So it's very simple, but very hard to achieve. Make the club quality your aim at each and every club meeting.
So thank you so much for your valuable time and gracing us with your valuable words and answering these questions as well. Can we all give him a big hand, the Toastmaster, DTM Colonel Mohammed Murad? Really appreciate, sir. I really appreciate. That was icing on the cake in our Bollywood session, rather in our entire year of 2020.